The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Commander Jake Morrison slammed his sidearm onto the crystalline table. The M1911, scratched and worn from 100 battles, looked almost primitive among the sleek energy weapons of the other species. Primitive, hissed Kvalix, the Zentari ambassador, his 4 eyes gleaming with amusement. Your weapon actually requires what do you call them? Bullets? Physical projectiles? You must physically carry the ammunition? The other delegates joined in. The insectoid Kresh chittered mockingly. Even the normally stoic Draconoids let out rumbling chuckles. Our plasma rifles, Kvalix continued, standing to his full 8-foot height, draw power from quantum batteries that last decades. We point, we fire, and our enemies are atomized. No reloading, no carrying heavy magazines, and you humans. You still throw metal pellets like cavemen throwing rocks. Jake Morrison didn't smile. He simply picked up his pistol and checked the magazine. 7 rounds. Ambassador Kvalix, with respect, you've never actually fought humans, have you? We've observed your species for 3 cycles, Kvalix replied dismissively. Your technology is centuries behind ours. When the Kresh invasion reaches Earth, and it will, your people will fall within weeks. Your ballistic weapons are laughable. Then let me tell you about Sergeant Danny Rodriguez, Jake said quietly, his voice cutting through the laughter. The room gradually fell silent. Battle of Proxima Station 2 years ago. The memory hit Jake like a physical blow. The station's corridors had been chaos smoke, screaming, the acrid smell of burning metal. The Kresh advanced scouts had broken through, their plasma weapons cutting through defenses like they were nothing. Danny Rodriguez was separated from his unit, trapped in a maintenance corridor with 30 Kresh warriors between him and the civilian evacuation point. The insects moved in coordinated swarms, their plasma rifles charging with that distinctive whine Jake had learned to hate. Danny had exactly 30 rounds. 1 magazine for his M4 carbine. The Kresh have natural armor plating, Jake explained. Your plasma weapons work great because you can pump enough energy to superheat it. But you need time between shots for your weapons to recharge and recalibrate. Kvalix waved a claw. And your bullets simply bounce off. We know this. Not if you know where to shoot, Jake continued. Danny Rodriguez knew Kresh anatomy better than most xenobiologists. He'd studied every piece of combat footage, every autopsy report. He knew about the gaps. The first Kresh warrior rounded the corner. Danny didn't aim for center mass, that would have been useless. His first round punched through the narrow gap between the shoulder plates, severing the main nerve cluster. The Kresh dropped. The second and third came together. 2 shots. Both through the eye clusters before their weapons could discharge. 4 rounds gone. The swarm realized they were under attack and charged. But the corridor was a fatal funnel, forcing them into a single file. Danny had positioned himself at the perfect angle, using a support beam as cover. 5th round, through the neck joint. 6th, another eye cluster. 7th through 9th, 3 precise shots into thorax gaps. The Kresh were fast, but Danny was faster. Muscle memory from 10,000 hours on the range, combined with combat experience that had turned shooting into pure instinct. His hands moved in a blur. Fire, assess, adjust, fire again. 10th through 15th rounds took down 6 more warriors. The Kresh were screaming now, not in pain but in confusion. They'd expected an easy kill against a primitive human with a primitive weapon. 16th round jammed. A fraction of a second delay as Danny performed an immediate action drill tap the magazine, racked the charging handle. The malfunction cleared. Another Kresh fell. The remaining insects tried to retreat, but Danny was advancing now, stepping over bodies, his weapon tracking left to right. 17, 18, 19. Each shot was a kill. 23 rounds gone. 7 Kresh left. They were panicking, firing wild plasma bursts that scorched the walls. Danny rolled into cover, let their barrage pass, then came up firing. 24, 25, 26, 4 left. They charged together, thinking they could overwhelm him. Danny's next 4 shots came in under 2 seconds. 27, 29, 30, 1 magazine. 30 rounds, 30 Kresh warriors. When Danny's unit finally reached him, he was already helping with the civilian evacuation, a fresh magazine locked in his weapon. The council chamber was dead silent now. Jake Morrison looked directly at Kvalix. Your plasma weapons are impressive, he said softly, but they make you lazy. You point and shoot and expect the weapon to do all the work. You've forgotten what it means to be a warrior. He held up his magazine. Every bullet I carry is a reminder. Resources are finite, shots must count. There's no room for waste, no room for error. When a human warrior loads a magazine, they're not just loading ammunition, they're loading responsibility. Each round represents a decision, a consequence, a life or death choice. Jake's eyes were hard as steel. We carry bullets because we understand cost. We train until our weapons become extensions of our bodies. We study our enemies until we know their weaknesses better than they do. And when everything goes to hell, when your plasma battery runs dry or your quantum cells fail, we'll still have one round left in the chamber. He picked up his M1911 and holstered it. So yes, Ambassador, our guns need bullets. And that's exactly why you should be terrified of us. Kovalik said nothing. The vote to accept humanity into the Galactic Defense Initiative passed unanimously. When the Kresh invasion fleet finally reached Earth, they found a planet defended not just by humans, but by a united coalition that had learned something important. Sometimes the most advanced weapon isn't the one that fires the longest. It's the one wielded by a warrior who knows every shot counts. And humanity? Humanity taught the galaxy that lesson one bullet at a time.